Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm meadsy69. Welcome back to the channel. Now, in today's video, we're going to look at 3 tanks that is just not worth the grind. 3 tanks that you should be saving free XP and just skipping this tank because they are either useless or they are just boring as hell. So the first tank that I would personally skip is the ARL V39. Now, to be honest, there isn't many tier 6 boring tanks, and this is one of them. It is weak as hell. You can't really do too much. The gun is nice, and the DPM is quite nice. It has no armor. You can't even hold down because it's got the biggest hatch on top of the tank. Look at the size of that. You can't even, no one can bounce on it. It is weak as hell. Yeah, and you've got no gun depression. It's just a boring tank. It's but if you can get in the right position where you are just sort of camping like mad, you can do well in the tank. You can actually farm a bit of damage. Now, I'm getting wrecked here. I am playing frontline, so I am playing it a bit aggressive, only because I knew that the enemy were very low hit points, and we could easily take these guys out. So, yeah, it's the Foch line. Now, the Foch, once you get to the tier, I mean, the 7 and 8, tier 7 and 8 are not that great, but once you get to the tier 9, the tier 9 is actually really enjoyable. Got crazy amount of DPM. I mean, look here, I can't even get the shot off. I'm trying to get the shot off, but I just keep getting stuck on this little hill here. So the first tank is the ARL. I would just use your free XP and move up the line because it's not enjoyable at all. But as I've said, if you do decide to play it, the gun is not bad at all. Moving on to the next tank. Now, the next tank on the list, to be honest, when I was about to make this video, I thought of the idea of making the video. I never even intended on adding this tank. Now, this is the KV3. It's, oh my god, it's such a bad tank. Now, this game here, it's nothing really too much about the tank itself, although other tanks, if I was in something like a T29, I probably wouldn't have this problem. But just watch this game. This is the biggest BS game I have pretty much ever had when it comes down to RNG. Fair enough, most of it is my own fault, but if I just had a better tank to play with, I probably wouldn't have had to deal with this BS. Literally, it is BS. So yeah, the KV3, it hasn't got armor. It hasn't, for what it is, it doesn't have fantastic armor. Nothing like the things like the T29. When you go up to the KV4, then it does start getting a little bit better, and you actually start bouncing a few things. But with this tank, the front plate is quite weak, to be honest, and it's just boring. You know, the DPM is bad, the armor's bad, the speed is bad, and it's definitely a tank that I would skip. I would definitely skip this tank 100%. Now, you're going to see why. And this is why I hate this tank. And again, as I was saying, watch the RNG on this game because it's bad. So I'm coming up behind the Annihilator, take the shot, I hit the track. It doesn't even track it. It just bounces off. So first shot done, first shot missed. Let's hope we can get some more shots off and some more damage. The second one, I accidentally shoot. I tried repairing my tracks and I accidentally shoot my gun. So again, I can't do anything. I'm now on a reload. Once I have reloaded, I mean, look at this. I can't even pen these guys. I switched to the APCR. Might be able to pen that guy. Nope. It decides to bounce. So 3 shots done. 3 shots literally do nothing. Hopefully, the 4th shot will be a little bit better. You can see this yo aiming at me. I do get a bounce. The T28, I get shot and I bounce him. So I'm not having much luck at the moment. I've lost half of my hit points. I've only bounced one shot. I'm trying to side scrape here. I just can't side scrape against this guy, and we do get penned again. Maybe I'm thinking, okay, I'm not angled correctly. I missed my shot, so I'm still on 0 damage with only 700 hit points left. Annihilator. Nope. Not today, Meadsy. Not today. So we come around. Of course, the SMV is still staring at me, and I'm now pretty much a one-shot. So at this point, it's a 3 versus 5. I'm pushing forward. Let's go for the lower plate. Nope. 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 I literally do nothing. Absolutely 0. Burn, moron, says the Annihilator. But yeah, after that game, I was literally, I'm not going to play this tank. I'm never going to play this tank again. So just skip it. Just skip it. Use your free XP to skip this tank because it's horrible. Moving on to the last tank on this list. Now, the last tank on this list is a bit of a better tank. But again, it's boring. It is boring. Now, the tier 7 version of this, the SU-100M1, is kind of the same, but it is much more enjoyable. In my personal opinion, it is much more enjoyable. It's got a little bit of armor, and it's got DPM, like crazy DPM. This has a little bit of DPM. It's got no armor. It's got no gun depression, and honestly, it is a boring tank. Now, this is really the only way you can play this tank, and that is camping. But if you're camping, you need to get into a position where you don't have to use that gun depression, because it has almost none. Literally no gun depression. Now, that's not even like the worst bit of the tank, because the whole line really doesn't have any gun depression. The tier 9 doesn't have any gun depression. The tier 10 doesn't have any gun depression. But what they've got is DPM and armor. So the tier 9 doesn't have any armor, but it is the highest DPM tank in the game, pretty much at 4,000. And their tier 10 version has DPM, and it has very troll armor. So you can make it work, which is the Object 263. Not as enjoyable now than it was like years ago. As we know, it used to be called the YOLO wagon. This is the only way, really, you can play this tank, because if you get up and close and personal, you're not going to bounce anything, and you're just going to get absolutely ripped apart. So this is the only way you can play this tank, and that is just literally camping. Just camp. It does everything else. I mean, the penetration, it works. But yeah, it's quite a quick tank. So if you do need to get out of position, then you can get around the map fairly quickly. But you can still do damage. You can still do the shots. You can still pen the shots. But other than that, you can't really do too much. Now, don't forget, as usual, this is my opinion. These are tanks that I personally wouldn't grind. And if I had the XP, the free XP, these are just 3 tanks that I would skip. Of course, there are other tanks out there that I'd personally skip, but looking at them at the moment, these 3 are the main 3 tanks that I would skip if I had enough free XP. So let me know your thoughts. What tank in the tech tree would you just absolutely skip? I know a lot of people will go with the AT line because they are boring to play. You know, they're slow, but they've got DPM and they do have some armor at least. But these 3 tanks, I would just skip. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. For now, hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, hit that subscribe button. I need the subs, guys. Give me the subs. If you haven't subbed already, please just subscribe, because it does help me and it does help the channel. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I'm Meadsy, and I'll catch you all soon. Bye-bye.